Welcome to what I'm calling my meal prep Monday. You guys want to meal prep with me? I have 5 or so different dishes that I'm going to try to make all today, all on a Monday to have ready to go in the fridge. Very little work. That's what I want out of a vegetable. That's what I want. That's it. So much flavor though. I'm doing this as an experiment to see if I have these like nourishing, high protein, high fiber, homemade, ready to go things in the fridge, if then I eat a little more well-rounded throughout the week, because I am usually guilty of waiting too long to start making my dinner, getting hangry, eating 3 chopsticks and like a protein bar and then like calling it good. So these are my goals here. Easy. I want to cut any corners we possibly can to make this like not as daunting. High protein. This is something that I've really been focusing on. High fiber. I feel like fiber is so important. And as someone who has a degree in nutrition, I feel like Americans in general kind of overlook that. So protein and fiber, and also like fun and interesting. I feel like all the meal prep things that I see on TikTok and Instagram are like a grilled piece of chicken breast, sweet potato, rice, and broccoli. So here is what is on the docket today. We're going to do a high protein tortellini. I want to try to hide some additional protein in this dish. We are going to do a hot honey pizza casserole. Our favorite thing to order is a hot honey pizza. But I'm like, what if we made like a veggie casserole and topped it like our favorite pizza? That could be a really great way to sneak in some additional greens and just like nutrient diversity. I, as a side, want to make spicy miso asparagus. I love asparagus. I feel like it feels good on my stomach. A lot of other vegetables are so cruciferous that they make me bloated, but asparagus always just like sits really well. I want to do a whipped feta roast carrot dish, maybe top it with some like pesto or something bright and herbaceous. And then, maybe most excited, to make a pickle salad. I just have this in my mind of like a pickle, lentil, bacon salad with a lot of fresh dill, cucumbers, some actual pickles, just like lemony, garlicky, bright, but super savory. I got a lot of things up my sleeves. We're gonna wing it, we're gonna play, but I will have all of the ingredients I used down below in case you wanna also wing it and like generally recreate any of these things as meal prep for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on if you wanna do this occasionally, because I need motivation to be a little bit more on top of my food game sometimes, you know? I'm 0 or 100. I'm eating protein bars or I'm making 5-course dinners, and I need to find my in-between. I got some goodies from Wild Grain. I actually can thank my sister-in-law for introducing me to this. This is what she gave me as my Christmas present this last year. She sent me their gluten-free box, and I've been hooked ever since, and now I'm getting to work with them on today's video. If you haven't heard of them, they're the first ever bake from frozen artisanal box of like sourdough breads, pastries, pastas, all sorts of things, and they have a gluten-free box. We're going to be using their tortellini today for our high protein pasta. They are artisanal because they actually work with like very small bakeries and local pasta makers to make all of their things. So they're like non-GMO, no artificial coloring, just overall clean ingredients. And I know I mentioned fiber. Things like this is also a great source of fiber. This was also something I loved from Christmas. Their French butter is insane. It is so good. So I'm gonna be using this as some of our, you know, fat in some of our dishes. These slowly fermented brioche rolls though, I've never seen a gluten-free brioche roll like this. And then just as a side note, these chocolate chip cookies are my hosting hack. So gooey, so huge. They make these big cookies with these like chocolate chunks in them. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's what I'm using as my like more kind of ready-made gluten-free grains and butter and dessert for this week. They did give me a code and a link, wildgrain.com/Michel, and you use code Michel, it's gonna get you $30 off your first order. And they're also going to give you these gluten-free chocolate chip cookies that I love, free and every box for life, which is crazy. And let's get started. Let's start with our high protein pasta. This is gonna be one of the easiest dishes we do. I'm just gonna get some water rolling for a tortellini, and my idea for making this high protein is adding sausage and then blending cottage cheese into our sauce. I just went ahead and got a spicy vodka tomato sauce, and boom, we're sneaking in so much protein. And I'm just gonna blend it straight up with some cottage cheese. A half a cup of this has an additional 12 grams protein. And a half a cup is not very much. Sick. Doing this in a white shirt is bold of me. Wait, that's so good. I want to eat that as a dip. A spicy vodka protein dip with some, like, heat that up, have some chips, melt some Parmesan on top. Bookmarking that for the future. Now I'm going to saute up some of my favorite sausage that I love so much and eat probably too many times a week. In case you're wondering, this is my favorite sausage. This is the Butcher Box pork farmhouse breakfast sausage. I love breakfast sausage and non-breakfast foods. It really, I feel like, adds a little something something. Turned off the heat for the sausage. Our tortellini is cooked and ready to go. I'm just going to add that in on the residual heat and then add in our sauce and just kind of warm it throughout. Okay, here's how this turned out. This is easily 4 to 6 servings, depending on how hungry you are and how many sides you want to put with it, but heavy, heavy boy. I just want to try a little bit of a bite. It's so good. You know, it's almost like adult mac and cheese because the sauce is so creamy, so cheesy. Start to finish, took me 10 minutes maybe. That was pretty easy. Probably one of the easiest ones we'll have. We are going to get started on our little casserole here. This casserole is going to have quinoa, it's going to have chicken, it's going to have vegetables. The first thing I'm going to do is start on my quinoa. You can buy this pre-cooked. I am taking this opportunity to cook the quinoa in bone broth. This bone broth, a single cup, has 10 grams of protein. There's 4 cups in here, so 40 grams of protein. I'm going to do 4 cups of this, 2 cups of this, bring it to a boil. That's going to be part of our base of this casserole. So I'm going to clean and we're going to get going. Okay, I'm realizing this is very much a kitchen sink meal. If you have random produce that you need to get rid of, this is the time. Saute it all up together. I'm gonna start with some avocado oil just so that the butter doesn't burn, but I'm gonna add some butter at the end for a little bit of richness, that French butter, you know what I mean? I have onion, squash, zucchini. I also have some mushrooms because that is very pizza-y in my opinion. But like the majority of the base of this is going to be veg and quinoa and chicken. The assembly part of this is really what I'm looking forward to. While these start to, you know, do their thing, I'm going to chop up the chicken into smaller pieces. I'm going to combine everything in a bowl to, you know, have a lot of easy mixing room. I just finished these veggies. I added some of the butter in there. I seasoned it. So I'm going to do maybe a little more than half of this in with the veggies. Whew, steam. Here's all of our chicken thighs that I baked. And then to make this like our pizza, of course I'm gonna do a tomato basil sauce inside, and I'm also gonna do some dollops of ricotta so you get some creaminess inside. Our favorite pizza that we get, they call it the Killer Bee, and it has ricotta on top. So that's why I'm just kind of riffing. It also has fresh rosemary. But I'm going to mix the sauce. I got 2 of these, we'll see. I really gotta go get my apron. We'll see if we need both of these for this. But here's what my bowl's looking like. I feel like that's actually the perfect amount of sauce. Now's the fun part. Gonna transfer this into our little dish here. Gonna add some dollops of ricotta. Before anybody says anything about me using my fingers, this is just for me and my husband, and it's about to be baked. I'm gonna top with mozzarella, some pepperoni, some sprigs of rosemary, and we'll top it with the hot honey and flaky sea salt when we pull it out. But I'm gonna stick this in the oven just till everything gets all like melty and gooey and pizza-y. Here we are. It's looking pretty good. But we're gonna top this with some hot honey and my favorite flaky salt. I want to try a bite with a little bit of everything. Some of the ricotta, some of the mozzarella, definitely a pepperoni, piece of chicken, a mushroom. Okay, wow, big bite. Mmm. Okay, I like it. The flavor is not too like heavy. Like it doesn't feel like it's gonna like sit heavy in you, you know? Like kind of after pizza, how 20 minutes later you feel a little bit like, ugh, okay, it's hitting and I'm tired. But it still is so satiating with how creamy the ricotta is and like the sweetness of the honey, the savory of the pepperoni and the flaky salt. Honestly, this might have to be on rotation. Here's a fun tip about prepping asparagus if you don't know this. If you don't know where you need to cut, it will just naturally break there. So I actually love just breaking the asparagus instead of cutting the asparagus, and it's usually like a clean break. But I am going to make a miso butter by melting some of the good French butter that we got and then just mixing in simply some miso. That is it. Miso is naturally salty, so I probably won't even need to add additional salt to this asparagus. And then our chili crisp later is gonna add so much of the flavor. Got our melted butter. I'm just gonna take a very generous scoop of this miso. If you ever are making brownies, add a spoonful of miso to your brownies and it almost gives them like a salted caramel kind of funky kind of, oh, it's so good. Get this fully incorporated. I should have used a bigger thing. Now I'm just gonna kind of spoon this mixture over the asparagus, and I'll probably honestly use my hands to just kind of like massage them all in there. I'll put on a glove so to not make anybody too mad. Since these are pretty thick asparagus, I'm gonna probably put them in for 15 minutes at 350 and see if they need any longer. But literally 3 ingredients: asparagus, miso, butter. Later we're gonna top with sesame seed, chili crisp. That's it. So much flavor though. Okay, asparagus is out. All my tongs are dirty. Well, some of it's caramelized and it looks delicious. And then all I'm gonna do is drizzle some of my favorite chili crisp oil. And then for a little crunch, a little texture, I have some already roasted, toasted sesame seeds. Very little work. Just took as long as they took to bake. 15 minutes really, a couple minutes prep. That's what I want out of a vegetable. That's what I want. I could literally eat all of these right now as a snack. For the carrots, I really love getting like the little tri-colored ones that come trimmed like this because I think that they're just really beautiful and elevated and take no additional work. I am using some avocado oil for these because these are going to go for quite a while to roast in the oven, and avocado oil has a high smoke point. So that's great. And I think I'm just gonna keep it really simple because I will have like lemon and garlic in the feta. And then of course the pesto will be super flavorful as well. So I'm just gonna do flaky salt and pepper, I think is it. If you've been around, you know that when I don't blend a lot of things, I love to just use a hand mixer in a deli cup, especially because for plating, I probably wanna keep the whipped feta separate from the carrots until we eat it so I can reheat the carrots and have them hot. So then I can just put a lid on this and keep it. But we're going to do an experiment and see if this works with, I got whipped cream cheese. Gonna do a whole container of this. Okay, this whipped cream cheese is pretty dense. Then we're going to crumble up a block of feta. We're going to add, I'm gonna start with a half of a lemon. I have a cut on this thumb, so I'm afraid of getting lemon juice in this thumb. I'm gonna add some good olive oil. This is my favorite. I'm a Graza girl, so sue me. And then I'm gonna press 2 big cloves of garlic. This is a new garlic press, and I don't really trust the way it looks, TBH. Oh, I take it back. Oh no, I don't take it back. See, it has this piece that comes up. I don't get how that's supposed to work. And we'll see if I need to add any cream to this to really get it to whip up or not. I'm gonna add a little bit. Step 1, a scoop of this whipped feta on the bottom. Step 2, some carrots. Step 3, some dollops of some pesto. And just because I have this fun salt that I love, I'm gonna do a little bit of this on top. It's like a charcoal salt and it just adds a little something something. Here's how this looks. There's a spot in Austin I loved called Abba. It's on South Congress and I feel like they would serve something like this. The carrots have a bit of sweetness. I love the lemony garlicness. Wow. It's just like warming to the soul, you know? Let's do a very, very, very dill situation here. First, while I was killing some time, I just used a mandolin to cut 2 cucumbers, very thinly sliced, but I did cucumber halves. You can cut up cucumbers however you want. You could dice them, you could keep them in little coins. That's gonna be a huge part of our salad. And then I love lentils. Lentils are known to just be a little more gentle on your gut than a lot of other legumes. I used to follow kind of like FODMAP guidelines, and when I was in middle school, before I got diagnosed with celiac, anyways, that's when I fell in love with lentils, but I've never tried this brand, and TBH, I don't love these. My favorite pre-cooked lentils are the Trader Joe's ones. They come in like a little kind of vacuum sealed bag in the refrigerated produce, and those are just seasoned really well. These are frankly not great. I'm not even gonna use 2 full cans. I'm gonna use like a can and a half. I wasn't planning on using quinoa, but I have leftover quinoa from our casserole. So just in the name of protein and in the name of not being wasteful, I'm gonna add a couple scoops of quinoa to our little dill salad. When I was thinking of this recipe, I was like, red onion would be great. I have leftover, I wish I could remember the name of this. I bought it at the specialty produce. It's basically like in the red onion family. And yet again, I'm just gonna mandolin this really fine just to get some onion kind of brightness. I love doing that instead of a knife. But we can't forget the most important part. I'm gonna take a few actual dill pickles and I'm just gonna dice these up kind of fine. These pickles are nice because they got some spice. So sorry for the Oceanside train. She loves to announce herself every few minutes. Now, our crispy bacon, basically just gonna crumble her up into our salad. Some of these I might scots to chops. Namely the most important ingredient, dill. I love dill. I could eat handfuls of dill. I just rinse this whole thing and I'm gonna mince up a lot of this. Now a ranch would be really great on this if you like ranch. I think for dressing, all I'm gonna do is straight on top of this bowl, not even in a separate container, do a lot of my favorite really good olive oil. I'm gonna do a splash of pickle juice. I'm gonna do lemon, probably more than this, but we're gonna start here. I recently just got seedless lemons and wow, it's a game changer. I'm gonna do flaky maldon, but I have this chili maldon, add a little bit of heat, a little bit of something extra. I have this really nice kind of thick grated Parmesan that I think will be so good. Here, come look closer. I'm gonna save some of this for the top though too. Just kidding, guess I'm not. I'm just gonna give this a good toss and then we will taste it and see if we need to adjust our dressing. I ended up transferring it to this bigger bowl to mix, and I added another almost whole lemon of lemon juice and a little more salt. And I don't think it's gonna fit in one of these containers, but I'm running out of containers with lids. Woo, buddy! Sprinkle a little additional cheese on top. And here's what this looks like. This honestly is a well-rounded salad. Like we got a lot going on in here, and I love salads that aren't very lettuce. This is more of like a picnic salad. A lot of pickle coming off of that. That makes me feel like a summer barbecue. That is so good. I'm gonna lay out everything on our table and let's see everything we meal prep together at once, because that's just satisfying. We got a lot of different diversity of flavors here. Food is an art. Food is a little bit of a science, but as long as you cook meat properly, food is an art. You can play, you can substitute, you can do whatever you want. Hopefully this inspires you to just have a little fun, experiment. If you don't like the way it tastes, add to it, you know? Switch it up, just keep playing. But I also wanna say thanks again to Wild Grain for partnering with me on this video. I will have my link and my code down below. It's Michel, it's gonna get you $30 off your first order. And don't forget, that also comes with gluten-free cookies in every single box, free for life. I'm gonna clean up the mess I made, but at least I don't have to cook for the whole rest of the week, and that is freaking sick. I love y'all. I hope you have the best rest of your day, and I'll see you in another video very soon.